What's poppin', y'all? Shout out to the homie Cultaholic Wrestling. Top 10 professional 10 most unprofessional WWE moments. I'm sure it's gonna have a bunch of Shawn Michaels, as you can see in the cover photo. Uh the click, they're the worst people in the wrestling, of course, Kevin Nash and all this shit. And then you got probably Brock Lesnar and shit like that. I'm just guessing or whatever, but let's hit it.
Wrestlers are supposed to be just that, professional. That is especially expected of those who work for the industry leader and extends to their conduct in the locker room, on the road, and in the ring, especially when the red light is on. Doesn't always happen, obviously, with accidents, vendettas, and personal problems occasionally derailing the planned
I think Shawn Michaels is the worst ever backstage wrestler or backstage person of all time. I think, yeah, Vince, but that's Vince's company. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. Shawn Michael has caused people's lives, careers, hella shit. I am not a fan of Shawn Michaels. I don't give a fuck about that finding Jesus shit, nigga. You are an evil ass motherfucker, bruh. Chris Candido is dead because of Shawn Michaels. There, I said it.
Programming. I'm Adam Pachisi from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are the 10 most unprofessional WWE moments. Join us. Number 10. Ooh, what a rut. SummerSlam 1992 was one of the biggest nights in the careers of the WWF stars who were lucky enough to get a spot on the card. The company put their best foot forward in front of 80,000 people inside London's Wembley Stadium, offering up a thrilling world title match between Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior, and a classic Intercontinental title main event between Bret the Hitman Hart and the British Bulldog. Another highlight for the assembled masses was seeing the always popular Legion of Doom, who made their entrance down the Long Isle way on motorcycles. Little did most fans know that one half of LOD was so messed up on pills that it was a miracle he even made it to the ring. Hawk was noticeably not all there during his and Animal's opener with Money Inc. and was so sluggish that at one point Vince McMahon shot him an evil glare from ringside. After barely getting through the match, Hawk decided to then miss his flight home, opting instead to join a biker gang and stay in the UK to party for a while longer. Animal was so irked by his partner's antics that they didn't team together for another 3 years. Hey, at least Bulldog was just very, very hungover, eh? Number
157 is the number of key votes.
We're almost at that 100 subscriptions. We're at 53. We get to 100 subscribers on this Be Nasty Live page, I'll get freaking a premium. You know what I mean? Show me. Hey, my last video I did reaction did like 200 views. That's a lot for a person like me, bruh. I respect it, loved it, and appreciate every single person who views, bruh. Just trying to get this channel off the ground, get monetized. I don't know, see what happens, bruh. May make a little bit of ends off this.
Number 9, a stupid mistake. After almost 2 years of portraying the plucky mid-card babyface, Kofi Kingston began to receive a serious push toward the end of 2009. It all came about due to his feud with Randy Orton, with Kofi helping John Cena dethrone the Viper to win the WWE title. Kingston was given some big moments during the feud, including that massive boom drop he delivered to Orton through a table in Madison Square Garden, and his sole Survivor performance and final elimination of the Legend Killer at Survivor Series. But while his work with Randy had put him on another level, a mistake while wrestling the third-generation star would end up knocking him back down the card. During a triple threat WWE Championship #1 contenders match, also featuring Cena on an episode of Raw, Orton got the win after hitting Kofi with an RKO. After delivering it, Randy began shouting "Stupid, stupid" at Kingston before making the cover. Turns out Kofi was supposed to stay down for the running punt, but forgot, and Orton blew his stack along with Kofi's planned push. Number 8, Hercules heads out.
Randy Orton has that much. That's what I'm saying. People like Randy and Shawn Michaels, they have so much power that they can just stop a person's push, get a person fired. You know what I mean? Shawn was worse, of course, but like I said, that's crazy, bro. They were on Randy's dick hard back in those days, too, thinking he was the fucking savior of wrestling.
Typically, when a wrestler was on their way out of WWE, say because their contract was up and it was accepted that it would not be renewed, the company's MO was to get the maximum out of that person's time left by having them do as many jobs as possible. Hercules found himself in this position in early 1992, including at a February 23rd Madison Square Garden house show where select matches would be taped to air on a future edition of Primetime Wrestling. Herc was tasked with putting over Sid Justice, who was just gearing up for a WrestleMania showdown with Hulk Hogan, and boy did he look like he did not want to do it. The match, such as it was, lasted a whopping 26 seconds, with Sid getting the win thanks to his signature powerbomb. However, Hercules did everything he could to let people watching know that he didn't agree with the script, which included popping back up almost immediately after taking the supposedly devastating move, which he barely looked like he cooperated with anyway. He would compete in the Battle Royal main event later that evening and lost to the Berserker the night after before leaving the company for good. Number 7, Sunny Days. Pretty much everything about the relationship between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels in 1997 could be described as unprofessional. The two had once been close friends, but things had deteriorated to the point where inevitably something had to give. That something turned out to be an off-the-cuff comment the Heartbreak Kid made about the Hitman on the May 19th, 1997 episode of Monday Night Raw. Despite being warned about no longer making insider comments on the air during a previous backstage sit-down, a clearly under the influence Michaels claimed that Hart had been seeing a lot of sunny days, basically insinuating that he was having an affair with Tammy Sitch.
Really, it was
now,
Shawn
the great
Michaels
irony is, of course, that Shawn was the one who had been having a relationship with Tammy, but Bret's then wife didn't exactly care about that little fact. Bret hadn't even caught the comment in the moment and only found out about it when his wife questioned him as to its meaning. The fallout from the Sunny Days remark was one of the main factors that led to Bret and Shawn having a backstage fight at the June 6th Raw taping, a fight that resulted in Shawn temporarily threatening to walk out of the company in protest. Hey, you reap what you sow, sexy boy. Number 6, Charlotte Flair drops the belt. The October 22nd, 2021 edition of SmackDown was supposed to end with a segment that would see Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch swap their women's championship belts after being drafted to different shows. While going to retrieve the red-coloured strap from the Queen, however, the man was dismayed to see it fall to the mat. Lynch believed that this was done intentionally as a way to mess up the segment and mess with her personally after months of lingering real-life tension between the former friends. Charlotte then picked the belt up and handed it to Sonya Deville, who was acting as an intermediary in the swap. The perceived slight had Becky feeling disrespected, and a confrontation ensued when the two got to the backstage gorilla position. In fact, Flair was escorted out of the arena by WWE officials after the situation had been diffused. During a later appearance on Steve Austin's Broken Skull Sessions podcast, Charlotte claimed that she didn't drop the title intentionally, but rather accidentally. Video evidence, not to mention Flair's Cheshire Cat grin after, suggests otherwise.
I'm Adam Gray.
You rolled into the
She lying. Flair, Charlotte needs to go to AEW. Because she can milk Tony for tens of millions of dollars while literally doing whatever she wants back there. She wouldn't have to listen or follow no rules, bruh. Are you kidding me? How much he'll mark out for her? Oh, she's wildin', bruh. Go milk that nigga for some money, Charlotte. I get it. You want to be in WWF and da-da-da-da. You're wildin', girl. You done made your money. You're good.
If Saturn gets his bell rung. A WWE squash match is supposed to be an easy piece of business. Established WWE superstar goes out, gives an enhancement talent a bit of a kicking, wins without much effort, and goes backstage after essentially a night off. However, squashes don't always go according to plan, with one of the most infamous examples being Perry Saturn versus Mike Bell from the May 12, 2001 episode of Jacked. As Saturn tells it, he became angered after Bell, a jobber WWE had used fairly regularly since the early 90s, dropped him twice on his head with an awkward hip toss and arm drag. After knocking his noggin on the canvas, Perry entered fight mode and began laying the leather in on Bell before chucking him out of the ring between the middle and top rope. Unfortunately, Mike landed right on his head and neck. The beating then continued, albeit in a working fashion, and the match ended with Saturn picking up the W. When he got backstage, however, the former European champion, who admitted that he was in the wrong, was told in no uncertain terms terms that he could never lose his cool like that in the ring again, and was subsequently given the Moppy storyline as a form of punishment. Number 4, the Shawn Michaels SummerSlam show. As we've already established, Shawn Michaels could be a bit of an insufferable knobend in the 90s. As well as his Sunny Days quip, there are a ton of instances of HBK acting out both behind the scenes and in front of the camera, typically without...
I'm gonna say it. Just like these Diddy parties and stuff, I think Shawn and Vince either fucked, or I think maybe he hit Linda and Vince washed or whatever. I don't know why this motherfucker was so infatuated with Cuz. It don't make sense to me, bruh. And it's crazy, bruh. But he could probably sock Shane McMahon right in front of Vince, and Vince would take his side. I don't get it. There's something back there. You know what I mean? Somebody
being reprimanded for it. Most people believed the old Shawn was no more when he became a born-again Christian and returned for his second WWE run in 2002. But then he met a man even better at playing politics, and the old Shawn emerged once again.
I take back my comments about Shawn being the worst. I said second worst. Obviously, Hulk Hogan, not tonight, brother. He's a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, come on, Hulk.
Michaels was ticked off heading into his main event match with Hulk Hogan at SummerSlam 2005, primarily because the Hulkster had used his pull to turn a 3-series match into a one-and-done deal, with him going over clean. Shawn responded to this power play by exaggeratingly overselling just about everything Hogan hit him with, bouncing around the ring like a rubber ball and almost turning the contest into a parody. It was very, very funny and compelling in its own way, but Michaels let his frustrations get the better of him and allowed them to spill over onto what fans saw on the screen. And personally, I'm glad he did. Number 3, Bully Holly. As one of WWE's hard-nosed resident locker room enforcers, Hardcore Holly was a logical choice as a trainer for the second season of Tough Enough. And while he didn't take it easy on that season's contestants, none of the hopefuls trying to earn a WWE contract had to suffer in the same way as season 3 co-winner Matt Cappotelli. The way Holly tells it, he showed up for his guest spot and saw the contestants goofing around and not taking their training seriously. This naturally annoyed him, since he was not only giving them his time, but had also just recently had his neck broken by Brock Lesnar. I mean, that would make you upset, wouldn't it? Singling out Cappotelli as the main offender, Holly proceeded to beat the absolute tar out of him during a practice match, leaving Matt with a black eye and a swollen bloody lip. While some disagreed with his methods, Holly wasn't reprimanded for his actions and offered no apology, instead doubling down on his belief that he was right to do what he did. He did later work a short match with Cappotelli in WWE Developmental League Ohio Valley Wrestling, which passed without incident.
I would've fucked him up.
Thursday Night Football on Prime.
Everything. I get it, you know what I mean? You have to not, you don't want to obviously sway the back to be like, this guy could work or whatever, but man, hell no, bro. That's why they don't do that shit to niggas, bro. Real talk, because niggas ain't finna go for that shit. Fuck you, Vince. They'll get on you. Fight. Come on now, bro. You ain't finna just get here and bully a nigga because you're higher on the totem pole. He
strikes again. As we literally just mentioned, Bob Holly didn't think he was out of line when he roughed up Matt Cappotelli during filming for Tough Enough Season 3. He also didn't think he was in the wrong when he...
The irony is Matt Cappotelli goes off to get cancer and shit in like 4 years or whatever, so it makes Hardcore Holly look even worse during these shoot interviews and stuff like that. They make, because they kind of they swerve the what would happen. Of course, you know how the story changed. Tell a friend, tell a phone, tell a wrestler. But I think they were trying to say, like, he's the reason the nigga got cancer, and then he beat his ass while he had cancer. It was like, nah, he beat his ass, and then later on in life, he got cancer and shit, you know what I'm saying, unfortunately. I think he's still good, though. I don't know if he's alive.
He assaulted Rene Dupree during a tag team match at a house show on November 21st, 2004. Holly had a bone to pick with Dupree after the French phenom had gotten a speeding ticket while using Bob's rental car. The ticket itself wasn't a big deal, but Rene had failed to pay it, and since the car was registered in Holly's name, it turned into a big legal headache when he was summoned to another state to sort it. Even though Dupree claims he offered to pay the fine and court costs plus interest, old Sparky Plug was having none of it and decided to exact revenge in the ring. Renee, who was tagging with Kenzo Suzuki, defending their WWE Tag Team titles against Holly and Charlie Haas in a hardcore match, took several very real punches and kicks to the head and face, as well as a full-force chair shot before retreating to the locker room. The beating continued once Holly caught up with him, though it was quickly broken up and Holly was slapped with a hearty fine. Number 1, just a big lout. Bob Holly wasn't the only rookie-hating Happy to Haze veteran that young wrestlers had to be wary of in the SmackDown locker room of the mid-2000s. The Blue Brand was chock full of such delights, with chief instigator JBL regularly cited as somebody who would make people's lives miserable with his relentless bullying. One person who had felt the full force of Bradshaw's torment was the Blue Meanie, who had been open about the difficulty he encountered with the former acolyte during his time in the company years prior. Word had gotten back to JBL, who, after getting pissed up during the pay-per-view, saw the big brawl at the first one-night stand as an opportunity to get his receipt. The former WWE champion went right after Meanie, opening him up with stiff shots to the head and face before they were separated by others involved in the melee. WWE management apologized to Meanie afterwards and doubled his pay for the evening, though he was still considering suing WWE until they offered him the chance to work a match with JBL on the July 7th, 2005 episode of SmackDown. It was Meanie's BWO brother-in-arms Stevie Richards who got the last word with that chair shot. Beautiful.
Crazy. God is, Stevie Richards smacked the shit out that nigga with the chair shot. Y'all should go see it. But what I was finna say about JBL is, the thing about JBL, though he was a bully, if you got up on him, that nigga was checking out hella fast. He did it with Eddie, I believe, and I want to say either Batista or Booker, I believe. He tried some shit with them. They got up on him, and he was like, come on, man, you know I'm just working and shit. But he wasn't ready for a shoot at all. You know what I mean? But hey, great video by the homies at Cultaholic Wrestling. Thank you. I gotta slow myself down. Shit, I got too excited. Get your boy subscribe. I appreciate y'all watching.